everyone, and welcome back to the Replayer Podcast. I'm Pagan, and I'll be your host this week. And joining me, of course, is my lovely co-host, Dan Morris.
What's up, everyone?
Went to another level there. And returning to the podcast this week, it's residential twerking master himself, Greg Bergner, everybody.
Oh, hello, I didn't see you there.
Oh, hi. Oh, God.
Well,
Glad
hi.
you made it. Hi.
Hi.
Hi, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Good. Great, thank you. And joining us this
there.
week for the very first time is the lovely Jen. Hello, Jen.
Hi, everybody.
Hey, it's really nice to have you. How are you?
It's great to be here. I'm great.
Good. And this is your first ever podcast.
First ever podcast
Hey,
in my whole life.
Yeah. I should look.
I just need you to pull your mic away from your mouth just a tad.
You betcha.
You
better?
got it.
Awesome.
Thank
Well, I mean, why don't you tell us about yourself, Jen? I mean, I don't know much about you. Like, how did you come to this
Let us
community?
get to know
and
Jen.
Let's know Jen.
Let's take a closer look.
Let's take a
Inside.
closer look. Ugh.
Whoa.
That's a different
Okay,
show,
you guys
Greg.
took that there. I didn't say that. I meant like,
Yikes.
you know,
You.
Greg.
inside,
Okay.
an inside.
I told you,
all
if you
took
came
it to a
back on
different
the
level
show,
and have to go.
you
Just
had
saying,
to
that was
behave
you, not
yourself.
me.
Pornhub, sponsor us.
I live in Seattle. I am 37, but I always get mistaken for under 18.
Sure,
Which
I can see that.
It's fine.
I'm not gonna lie. You said 37. I was like, what? Okay, sure.
And then people see all of these and they're like, oh, you're old. Like,
Ninja
they get
Turtles.
it. I love video games.
Mhm.
PS4 is my preferred console.
Yes.
Sorry.
Satan.
I
And
have one. Two.
I love movies more than almost anything in the whole world. I have AMC A-list, so I try to go to as many movies as I can a year. Last year I saw 68 in the theater, but I went to the
Wowza.
theater like 75 times because I saw several of them several times.
Just fill me in for the non-American person. What's an AMC A-list?
AMC A-list is you pay $23 a month,
Right.
and you get to get 3 movie tickets per week. So Friday through Thursday, you can go see 3 movies every single week. It doesn't matter if it's IMAX,
Damn.
Dolby, any of those type of
crazy.
things. And I
Oh.
try to go as much as possible. You also get you earn points every time you buy concessions or you buy extra tickets for friends. So you get $5 off for every 5,000 points. So
Cool.
it's a really good deal if you go to the theater often.
Yeah, if
and
you
utilize
actually
and
use it.
I do.
Yeah.
I actually had the AMC stub list, A-lister membership card last summer because there were so many movies coming out I wanted to see, because a brand new movie, even if it's regular, can cost like $16 or $17 a person.
Exactly.
So the fact that you use it for like IMAX or whatever, which those things go into like the $20 area, and you get to do that 3 times a week, and you get to reserve your seats and everything. And if there's new movies coming out and that has select seating, you can pick your seat ahead of time. You can I think you can plan like a week or so ahead of a movie that's being released, so you're like top of the list.
Wow.
So if you're a movie person, I definitely agree. It is a good bang for your buck.
See, I think that's
awesome.
I think that's a really ridiculous price. Like, if they're gonna charge you over $20 for a movie, like in Ireland,
It pays for
I think,
itself.
Yeah. Oh yeah. But I think
Yeah.
I think in Ireland, the most expensive you'd probably pay for a movie is IMAX. Here in Wexford, I think it's like less than €13 a ticket, maybe 13 or €14 a ticket, which is kind of expensive. So I guess that would be really worth it. Now I had something called an unlimited black card in England, in one of the cinemas there, and it was like you get unlimited cinema,
Yeah.
whatever type of cinema you want, for a month, and I think it was like £17 a month. And you just go, and like you said, like it wasn't so much we build up points, but you'd get 10% off any of the concessions there. So you'd get like Ben and Jerry's ice cream or popcorn or whatever it was. And you could just go and see an unlimited amount of movies, which was fantastic. I totally abused that because where I worked was just opposite, and I'm not kidding, like a couple of meters away from the cinema. So I'd come out of work and be like, cool, what am I going to do? Ah, yeah, cinema. And you just sit there for like 6 hours watching 2 movies back to back. It was fantastic.
Yeah.
I feel like you would watch a lot of crappy movies if you did that.
You
Well,
do.
I mean, you could go see though like a really good film. Like I saw Skyfall 6 times in the cinema.
I didn't even see it,
What?
which sucks because I'm a huge James Bond fan.
That's the only
I
James
have
Bond
yet to
movie I've
see
ever
Skyfall.
seen. I loved it.
Man,
well, at
it
least
is
you
so
saw the
good.
best one if you got to see one.
That's
That-
right.
I mean,
the best one.
yeah.
I'm gonna
can't
go see
beat
the new one
GoldenEye.
too. So
Mm.
I definitely want to see the new one.
I mean, yeah, I can't wait for the new one. But I haven't seen many of the original James Bond films. I'm only a big fan of the Daniel Craig films, except for Quantum of Solace. That one was.
How dare you? What? Me?
Yeah, because Skyfall was damn good. Okay, anyway.
I believe you.
Anyway,
Spectre
so
kinda
Jen
made-
has an AMC A-list card.
I do.
Sorry.
Spectre made Quantum
It's
of
awesome.
Solace more tolerable. I know Quantum of Solace isn't the best film, but like it's more of an artsy film.
It's
You have to
alright.
look at it
I really
in more
like
of
Quantum
like
of Solace.
the mindset of like someone he really cared about just got like got killed, and he's trying to figure out why it
Spoiler.
happened, and that's like his first ever loss
Yeah.
because he was an orphan and how he was raised. So
Not real
like
deep.
if you look at it like that, it's not that bad, especially with the continuity that they added in Spectre. It doesn't make it as bad, but I understand why people give it a bad rap.
I think it's just the
Especially
worst
because it's like the
of
shortest
them.
Bond film that's like an hour and a half long. Not even that.
Yeah, but I just think it's the weakest of them.
It's weak, yeah, but
Casino
I mean,
Royale is like top game. That is a
I
great.
love
Yeah.
Casino Royale.
Should
Is Quantum
be-
of Solace,
the new one should
the
be
video
top.
game is really good.
I
Yeah.
haven't played that either. But speaking of
Missing
video
out.
games, Jen, you said you like movies and you're into the AMC A-list or anything. You also
Yes.
play games?
I do. I have been playing games since I was like, oh god, probably like 4 or 5.
So
I
back when dinosaurs existed?
exactly. The original Nintendo was released on my 3rd birthday. I did not get it then.
What? Oh my god.
There used to be a Nintendo store in one of the malls here, and my grandpa took me there when I was a kid, and he asked if I wanted the Nintendo because he saw that it was $199.99, and I was like, "Yes, my parents won't buy it for me.
Sure.
Please get it for me." So we get to the checkout, pulls out his change purse, and I'm like, "Grandpa, you're gonna need a little more money than that." And he's like, "No, it's okay. I've got change too." And he thought it was $1.99.
Oh no.
And I was like, "No, Grandpa, it's $199." And he
That's
was like,
hilarious.
"Oh, I can't afford that." And I was like,
Oh no!
Aw.
Get your hopes
I
up
was
right to the checkout.
devastated.
Oh.
It was so sad. But then I got the chicken pox a couple years later, and my parents didn't want me to scratch, so they just bought me a Nintendo and rented me a bunch of games and ruined my entire life.
And it was all downhill from there.
And
The
yeah, and
story
I
is
just
extremely-
haven't stopped since. So
It's very sweet and hilarious at the same time.
Yeah.
right,
Basically.
he tried. He really
Oh.
tried.
Good story.
Oh my god, bless his little heart. I think it's
Yeah, right.
$1.99. Oh,
You can
poor
see him like with his
thing.
little boink.
Yeah,
popping
yeah.
out,
It
digging
was
through
one
the
of those.
change.
He was just like, I'm like, "No, Grandpa."
Oh
like,
no.
100 of those.
25,
That's
50.
really sad.
Let me
75.
scoop these two
Halfway
$100
there.
bills out.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah,
Um,
so I've been gaming a long time.
And what brought you to the
Same.
retro replay kind of community? Like, how did you find out about retro replay or?
So in 2017, I met Troy Baker at Emerald City Comic Con.
That was when
one
I
of
met Troy Baker too, but not in Emerald City, but in 2017.
one of my friends was cosplaying as Delson Rowe from Infamous Second Son,
Okay.
and so he was so excited to meet Troy. So we like went and I like met him, and I was like, "Oh my god, he's such a nice guy! Like he's so cool." And then the next year at Emerald City Comic Con, Nolan showed up for a panel that they do with a bunch of voice actors where they read a script of a movie and they read it in different characters' voices throughout the entire
love
script.
that.
And it's
Oh.
the most hilarious thing ever. And he wasn't even supposed to be there. He just kind of showed up and I was like, "Oh my god, I love Nolan North so much." And I had played Uncharted 4 and I was really excited about it. So then last year at Emerald City Comic Con, Nolan was an actual guest. And I was waiting in line, and somebody behind me said something about retro replay, and they were wearing a "What Is Going Happen" shirt.
Oh.
And I was like, "I don't know what the hell you're talking about, but it sounds amazing." And then I got to the front of the line, I got my picture taken with Nolan. I got like 6 pictures taken with Nolan, which are all hilarious. And he was like, "Yeah, have you listened to my show, Retro Replay? I do it with Troy Baker." And I was like, "No, what?" And I was like,
A what?
"How have I
Yeah.
not heard of this?" The next day I started, and it had been on for a couple of months, so I had to catch up. And it was all I watched. And then I
Binged
caught up,
it.
and now I can't stop. It's my favorite thing in the whole world now, and I just can't get enough of it.
Oh, that's really cool. I must say though, I was just thinking about this the other day because like I came in at a time that was like Spider-Man missed a whole bunch of episodes, and then I like started just watching them back to back. But now that we're only getting 2 episodes a week because the Retro Repo's on a break, the Thursday episode's on a break, doesn't the week feel so much longer? It sounds so stupid because it's a fucking YouTube show. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, I love the YouTube show, but it's like that has really changed my week. Like, the week feels so long.
Feel like, oh, Monday, Tuesday, good, and then you're like, what do I do?
Yeah, what am I doing with?
Mhm.
And
I
then
mean,
like
the
Wednesday
Wednesday
brings
is
you the
helpful.
little, it gives you like a little snippet.
It's not long enough for
It's
me.
not long enough.
I'm
It's
actually
cute,
the
but I'll only
opposite.
go
I'm
watch it.
actually glad. Not glad, but like I needed a break considering all that's happening. So the fact that we're down to
That's
2,
true.
and we're gonna be at 1 pretty soon for probably a couple more weeks.
Yeah.
I'm okay with it, but like I can understand in the grand scheme because of how the layout has been for the last 3 or 4 months. It's been essentially 3 episodes a week. I can understand how that, especially because it's the same time each time, and they're usually about. Well, the playthroughs are usually average about, an hour or so long.
Hour
and
and 15, yeah.
And then the regular episodes, like maybe 40, 50 minutes on average, depending. So yeah, I can understand that. I don't know. For me, it's okay. I mean, because we're going to have at level 3 around the corner before you know it. So, I mean, it's not that bad. But I
can feel you on that, Greg.
Speaking of level 3 around the corner, I believe the first episode of level 3 around the corner has some very interesting decor.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Greg.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Do you know?
I don't
Do you
know
know
what you're talking about.
Well, I guess everybody's gonna have to find out in level 3.
I don't know what he meant by that. Maybe maybe he got a Godzilla pillow,
no.
and so me and Dan can
You're gonna
both
have
enjoy
to
the
fill me
decor.
in on this.
This
I don't know what
is
you're
gonna be
talking
a
about.
giant poster of Greg Bergner's face. On
I don't
the
think
Retro
so.
Replay set.
I don't think it's
going to
be my face. I don't. That's kind of weird.
You don't think it's gonna be your
flattering,
face?
but it's weird.
Anyway,
Why did Drew drop a hint of something?
Troy did.
And it could also be a picture twerking.
Mind
Who
you,
knows?
I missed both live
That could
chats
be
last
good.
week, so you're gonna have to fill me in.
Oh, okay. So basically, in one of the live chats, Greg had commented or donated soup or thrown soup or something like that, and Troy was
I donated.
I feel like you're
Yeah.
gonna love our decor in level 3, Greg ... And I was like, I think
Okay.
I know it's coming.
For those of you watching who don't know, I'm the Alter Beast level tier on now, and one of the perks was on one episode, which is still kind of funny because I don't know.
You're
like
probably gonna be the
I
first
can imagine
one,
just
then.
the picture being
I
taking
really
up the whole
hope
back
it's
of the
like
room.
actual life size. I want a cardboard
it's like a
cutout
huge
of
Life
Greg.
size Greg.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's one of the stand-up cardboards of me twerking.
Yes, please make that
take it home.
happen. Yes.
One of the perks is if you send in a photo, they put it on somewhere in the back of the room for you to see. I don't
think
know
on
if
the
that's
bar.
like actually what's going to
I think it's
happen, but
supposed to
that's
go
what
on
it
the
sounds
bar.
like. That'd be
Supposed
kind of
to be
weird.
on the bar. I think it's a photo of you on the bar behind Nolan.
It's like I don't know what the size is, but that's what it said. It says we're gonna put a photo of you up for that episode to show you in the background,
giant.
dedicated. So,
I
which
feel
is
like-
nice. I mean, I didn't really care that much for that, but it's nice that
It's a
that
nice
was
perk.
for that, which is appreciative. And if that is the case, I'm honored that I'd be the first one for the new season. But like,
Thanks,
still
Mr.
thinking
Greg
about it
Berger.
now that we're joking about it, it does seem kind of weird.
Yeah.
Just
I feel
Well,
like they.
No.
I want you, or I will do it. Send them a pillow with just your face on it, and just put it in the middle of them while they're playing Retro Play. Like that would be a far better like collection. Let's just hang pillows up everywhere, or like pop pillows, and there's
just
just
have like a
giant
collection of
pile
all the replayers on pillows, and you
Yeah.
just see the wall build up of all the pillows.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
No one sleeps on it at nighttime.
You're-
Oh, Greg.
You know you were gonna get Nolan like caressing the Greg pillow, like Greg.
Yeah.
It smells like him too, even though he doesn't smell what I smell like. But
With regards to membership, Jen, are you a member of the channel in the community? Like, do you participate in live chats? Are you?
I
active at all in that?
am the lowest tier. And
Yeah.
welcome to the party, pal.
Welcome to
I
the
just
party,
started
pal.
like right before they changed all the tiers. I started and I was like, I should be giving them
I
money.
want to
can
say
do-
it's not
I can do
fair
that
to
much.
call it the lowest tier.
I was gonna say, not
That's
it's
true.
Let's not do that.
It's
It's
the
the
welcoming
introductory
party
tier.
pal
It's the
tier.
original
No, it's the
tier.
tier that we all were up until a week ago.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Which I joined right before they changed it, so it was like I didn't know any difference, and I was just like,
Yeah.
I can do $5 a month, like whatever,
Yeah.
like that's not a
There's
big
no
deal.
such thing as a low tier. I don't want to say that that's the low
Yeah.
tier. I
Yeah.
understand there's
Right.
higher
That's fair.
tiers, but in the grand scheme, everyone is just as important as the other,
'Cause there's
regardless
also
of what.
like-
Definitely.
You're
Will
taking
still
it.
be the $5 membership, but they have the time badges. I'm gonna get my 6-month badge in
Yeah.
like 2 weeks. So I'm gonna be a first level tier, but I'm gonna have a 6-month badge.
Yeah.
Right.
But it's just like, I mean, I think like it's being taken way too literally. Like it's just the lowest priced tier, but it is
It's the
Right.
still
cheapest
a
tier.
membership tier. Yeah, it's still a membership tier, and it's like, I mean, I'm welcome to the party, pal. Heck yeah. So that's great. And do you participate a lot in the live chats? Have you seen a members chat, only members chat?
I've done one live chat, and only because I'm at work generally when all
When
of the
it goes
chats are
on.
happening. Luckily, at the job that I have, my boss doesn't really care if I'm on my phone, so that helps a lot. So
Cool.
I can do that if I want to. I just sometimes forget, and I'm like, crap, I missed it. Okay, well, maybe next time.
Yeah.
And then I forget a lot. So last time I did it, and then that was the only one I've done so far.
Oh, okay. Well, do you know
And
about
here we
the
are.
members only chats, members only live
I haven't
chats?
done that yet.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm sure they're due one anyway, because I think the last one they did was
It's
about
been a
4
while.
weeks ago. Yeah.
It's been about a month and a half, close to it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I think because like taking their break into account as well, I think that's what there's a big delay on. So they'll probably do their first members live chat pretty soon. But that's pretty great if you can be involved in that. That's always good fun.
Yeah, I like getting more involved. So
That chat is
Yeah.
going to be so intense because of all the new members that just got added with the new tiers. That thing
New
is, the
members!
chat's going to go like this. Looks going to look like a slot machine going.
yeah, you can't see anything anymore. I'd be like, well, I hope everybody's doing good.
I hope
Do you know
everyone's
what?
fine.
I find that's what happens though in the Last of Us chat now, because sometimes like I think initially when it started it was 5,000 people watching and then a lot of people chatting, and then now it's like roughly between 2,500 watching at any given point, and people are chatting, and the fucking chat just goes mental. And then if one of the boys are in, or if Drew is in, the chat goes even more mental, and you're like, I can't keep up with this chat. And then someone might be talking about it later and be like, hey, did you see this thing that happened in the chat? Like, wasn't that hilarious? Wasn't that great? And I was like, no, I completely missed it because it was going 40 miles an hour. Like, I was just like, I'm
You're
trying to
also
watch
trying to
the
maintain
thing.
like 12 different conversations with 12 different people
Yeah.
in the live chat while there's 100 other conversations happening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you're trying to watch the show.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's
I've done
it's a lot. It's a lot,
was-
Jen, but we're super happy to interact with you when you can interact. That's good.
I'm happy to interact.
Yay.
I've done the Greg thing where I stopped really watching the episodes because I want to
stopped.
save it to watch later with Brandy.
Yeah,
that's what I do with Sarah. Yeah,
I watch
that's
it
why
later now.
I joined for that hour beforehand to
That's what I've been doing.
talk to everybody, whoever joins in, and then once the episode starts, I leave and then watch it later with Sarah because I can't keep up like the same because the chat's going. So I have to focus on the game and how because that game you can't.
Right.
It's hard. It would be hard for me for that kind of game to like watch it happen and then also try to communicate with like you said like 10 or 12 other people at the same time.
Yeah.
What I've been doing is I come in for that hour before and I chat away. And then what I've done the last 2 episodes now was I turn off the video, but I keep the chat window open.
Yeah.
And I'll still chat, but I can only chat in the context of what other people are talking about. And I'll chat for a little bit, but eventually I'm like, okay, this is getting out of control. And I like, all right, I'll catch you guys later. I can watch the episode with Brandy and me and her can enjoy it together.
I think like what my process is, like I'll have everything up, I'll have the video and the chat going, but my sole focus is on chat. It's so funny how this is all flipped, really, wasn't it? It was all supposed to be like, let's hang with Troy and Nolan, and they were like, yeah, let's watch the replayer chat. But we're watching the replayer chat, and then I have my headphones on, so I'm listening to what's going on, and if something drastic or something funny is said or something like that, like I like listening to that because people in the chat respond really quickly, like people will like start the death count or something, and it's great crap to see. But I don't actually concentrate on the episode until Adam gets home, and we'll watch it either sometime during the week or whenever we have time, and we'll like actually sit down, and I'm like, oh, okay, like this makes more sense now that I've actually seen this and I can remember the live chat, which is always nice because I kind of have a bit of both worlds. Then I'm experiencing with chat, I'm laughing and joking with everybody as it's going, and then we watch it later and I'm like, now I can actually concentrate on what's happening, how many times he's died, what's happened in the actual game, what jokes were said, Drew's voice, all that kind of stuff.
His majestic voice.
His majestic
See, unfortunately,
voice. The voice of God.
Oh, Drew's lovely voice. But I was gonna say that me and Brandy only had one episode of the actual Retro Replay show that we could watch together, where we're both watching, we're both in the live chat, and we're both interacting at the same time. And then Retro Replay stopped for their break. So now, because of time constraints, she can't watch the Uncharted and Last of Us playthroughs unless I wait for her to come home. So before, we were able to watch Retro Replay because we were both home for that because of the timing.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, look, let's dive right into it. I mean, I think if we're going to talk about these episodes and we're going to talk about the live chat, let's just move on. So before we move on to this week's episode, we will discuss the very nature of this podcast in the...
What?
Yeah. Retro Replay is a show on YouTube, and if you don't know about it, why are you here? Retro Replay is a show. Yeah, how did you? Why are you listening?
Go watch the episodes. Get out of here. Go.
You're drunk, Philip. Go home.
Yeah.
Go.
Retro Replay is a show on YouTube hosted by Nolan, North, and Troy Baker, and produced by Red Bear Films. These guys sit down and they play some of the retro games of yesteryear. And now, recently, they're doing playthroughs of Uncharted and The Last of Us, which are not so retro games of yesteryear. And our podcast is dedicated to discussing their recent uploads and what we thought in our general tangents. So, welcome to the episode. Let's start this week with Nolan North. We saw him finish the final chapter of Uncharted 2, Among Thieves. And I mean, I gotta say, I'm pretty well impressed with how Nolan has come on as a gamer. Like, so far, he has, like, almost peaked as a gamer. Like, I think he's just, like, been so good at everything, and he was
so close.
What?
He was almost had run and gun down.
So
almost.
Yeah.
As soon as he can get aiming down the sights on like a sniper rifle, then I think we'll be set.
Right?
But he still can't. He still can't
there.
Zoom for some reason.
He can't do the. Yeah,
He's still no scoping the hell out of people.
That's true.
R3 seems to be a struggle for him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm very thankful that Drew, within the last couple episodes, has jumped in to assist, and I say assist mildly because he's saving. He's saving Nolan. Because Troy is getting to that point where it's like, all right, we gotta get going. Come on.
They're on the clock, guys.
In like the nicest way possible, but he's like, come on, let's go. So Drew is like, and I think the first episode, I felt like Drew was talking kind of lower than he usually would, like as if he wasn't trying to his audio try to get picked up in the recording.
Like, okay, you got to move over
but
there.
His voice is so deep that regardless of even if you tried ASMR, you would still pick him up. But I'm glad that he's trying to help out to explain a little more, which I think is good. That actually added a whole new depth to that playthrough, because a lot of people keep talking about bring Drew in. We want to interact with Drew because Drew is always usually there in the live chats, but like isn't fully engaged in videos. But so it's nice to see that too, especially kind of towards the end to help out, because had he not, along with Troy, that last boss fight would have been like a 2 or 3 part episode.
Yeah.
Easily.
I think it's nice because it's just a gentle nudge from Drew. It's not like a full-on conversation with everybody, because then we would want to see his face. But it's like that gentle nudge to be like, hey guys, we're on the clock, so if you just want to go over here, if you want to shoot the blue thing or grab the crossbow, that'd be great. And you're like, okay, great. It's a good way to keep them on track.
Yeah.
I believe
Troy did acknowledge that Drew talks to them normally. We just don't hear it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So they added a mic for him so that we can actually hear when Troy gives them hints and advice.
Which is super helpful because if you go back and watch some of the episodes, like you can see Troy getting a conversation at him or
yeah, like he looks off camera.
Yeah, and and you're just like, what is happening? Like, I wonder what they're saying or something like that. And then Troy would obviously direct them from there, which is so it's nice now that we're almost included in that conversation. It's it's a weird way to put it. What do you think, Jen?
And
I think it gives it a whole nother level. Like Drew's just kind of been like a mystery guy. Like he talks in chat and he's there, and he does a lot of work to make it happen. But it's like, who is Drew? Like he's the guy that has a lot of soup, but it's just like we don't know much about him, and it's just like nice to have him chime in. And I like having his input involved.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Do you
For sure.
feel like it rushes the episode?
No. No, I feel like a lot of the time, like they do get lost in doing one thing, or Troy's giving direction and Nolan's just not listening, or just doesn't want to listen, or doesn't know how to listen, or can't
Sure.
figure out where the buttons are for some reason.
Sure.
But I feel like it just kind of like it adds a good part to it. Like I don't think it hurts anything.
All right, Dan, what do you think?
Oh, I was just thinking about how I like having Drew's voice there, because he kind of gives you that element of he's saying what we're all thinking when we're
He's
watching.
speaking for us.
Right, he's like the voice of the
Yeah.
replayers almost. He's giving the advice because he knows the games. He knows how to play them. It's very evident, especially with, in the regular show with the Drew comments or an Uncharted or The Last of Us, when we know he's been giving them help or he's been giving them advice, and we're like, okay, Drew knows what he's doing. He's clearly played these games before and understands them. So he's saying a lot of the things that we're all thinking while we're watching the show. And it's like, thank you, Drew. Thank you for telling Nolan to use the crossbow on the crazy purple or blue guys.
And
I
that
was
the
gonna say,
resin grows back.
Yeah.
Like Troy was like, oh, that stuff's gone forever. Like, no.
Yeah, no, it's sap. It's coming from the tree. It's gonna be there again. It's okay.
And the one other thing I was gonna add was, I'm pretty sure if you listen back to our show, we've been like, more Drew, more Drew, more Drew from like the beginning.
Man, we've been speaking to Drew from the beginning. Poor Drew.
We talked right
so
to Drew
sick.
like, hey Drew.
Hey
Hi.
Drew.
How's it going?
I must be so sick of listening to our damn voices. Be like, gosh, shut up.
He's gonna be like, dude.
Talk to somebody else. Talk to PJ.
Oh, hi PJ.
Hi PJ.
How's it going, PJ?
Yeah, I think like it does add a nice little depth, like a level to the episode. I feel like though, like for me, it's super nice to see him being engaged, and it is nice to be involved in that conversation. But occasionally, at times, it does feel like, okay, we're on the clock now, and it's pretty evident in their last recent episodes that they're on the clock, especially in like the next episode, which we'll talk about, is The Last of Us, as well, where there's just like a lot of stuff that they want to do in these games, but they need time. That's more The Last of Us. They need to explore. But in Uncharted, like now, like there's no shinies anymore. There's no like, hey, let's look up for Hefe's treasure. Like there's none of that anymore. It's like, okay, hey, let's just like, pick up the damn crossbow. We've given you enough of them in the game. Like you should know by now that if I'm hinting heavily at the crossbow, you should probably use it. You know? So I don't know. I think it just seems like it's a fine line. It's a very fine line. That it's nice to get engagement from Drew, but it's clearly because, hey guys, we're on a time, and Nolan, stop fucking around and getting killed all the time. We can't have 40 death counts. We'll lose the Deadpool. So just like, can you just go this way and use a crossbow? That'd be great.
Thanks, buddy.
Thanks, buddy.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, and this episode in particular is like the last chapter, which I think I struggled with quite a bit. It was the Lazarevich chapter, and they're finding the Tree of Life is the sap from Tree of Life.
Lazarevich, bitch.
Lazarevich chapter, Tree of Life, the Chintamani Stone, and then Elena gets blown up. It's a lot happening this episode. But I think he handled it really well.
He handled it better than I did.
Yeah.
I died so many times at that
Did
part.
you? Yeah.
It was sad. I was just like, why can't I do this? Like, I know what I have to do. I know I can run and gun. I know I gotta shoot this crap. I know shooting him doesn't help. Like, I'm just like...
Yeah. I had the same struggles. Anybody else? Dan, Greg, did you have the same struggles in this chapter?
Oh, of course. Actually, I was playing on, like, normal or something when I first played this, and this is the level that made me drop in and finish the game on very easy. Because I was dying so much.
Yeah. It's hard.
Yeah.
It's
I've talked about this many times, but I still believe that's the worst boss fight in all the Uncharted games. I mean, I understand if you run and gun and stuff like that, there's different ways of making it better. And I had a feeling that Nolan was going to I had a feeling he was going to beat it pretty quickly. I mean, he didn't beat it quickly. He died the first time and he made it on the second run, but it just took him a while because he's not good at running gun and everything to make it quicker. But
I was so afraid of him falling in the hole.
Yes.
That was, don't fall, Nolan. Don't fall.
Some
He
of
was
his
very good,
jumps
though.
were very. He could have easily fallen and died, but he did pretty well. But yeah, that's a tough level. I don't know why they made it like that, but that's just how it is.
That's
As
not
far as
adaptable.
I remember,
Yeah.
I haven't replayed Uncharted 2 all the way through to the end since it first came out back in 2009, 2010.
11?
Yeah.
I thought it was
I
11.
played the
Okay.
bejesus out of that game when it first came out, and I played through it on multiple times on multiple difficulties on the PS3 originally.
Yeah.
I have the game for PS4. I have the Uncharted Nathan Drake collection, but I've yet to actually play through the game. So I remember that fight being hard. But other than that, I don't have any particular struggles or complaints with it. Just like, oh, that was fucking hard. God.
I think though, like yourself and Greg are fairly established gamers. Okay, like you guys play a lot of games. I don't know about you, Jen, but I don't play a whole bunch of games, and I'm terrible.
I do.
Like
I'm
love
not
them.
great,
Yeah,
but I love
I
games.
like
Yeah.
hard games too.
I'm terrible.
I'm literally forcing myself to play Sekiro again, and it's
hard.
raging.
I haven't even played that game, and I know it's hard, so I'd suck at it. But I like you, Jen. Like I just love games, and I really enjoy the gameplay. So somebody was saying recently, they're like, "Oh, just play it on easy," and I was like, "I always play it on easy. Like
Right.
I always
Yeah.
play it
What
on
other
easy,
options
or
are there?
Story mode.
I wanna
or-
have
what
fun.
other
Yeah,
there's
that's
easy and
If I die
easier.
too many times, I'm not having fun.
Why would you
Right.
plan anything but easy?
Yeah.
What's the
Yeah.
point?
yeah. What the fuck is the point? You're just gonna die a bunch of times, and you're gonna get frustrated and throw the controller at the TV. Like it's not
Exactly.
okay. It's a health risk.
I always try
So-
to play on a harder difficulty on my second playthrough, but then like probably 20 minutes in, I'm like, nope, back to easy. Like I
Yeah.
can't.
Yeah.
I'm not into it.
Sometimes like
There's a-
it depends. Like I'll start on like if you can adjust the levels and stuff like that in the game while you're in the
Yeah.
gameplay. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna start on normal and see how it goes. And then like 20 minutes in, I'm like, no. I'm
Very
so
easy.
shit.
Can't do it.
Please give me easy.
There's a few games I've done that with where I play through it the first time like on normal, then I'll play it again on hard, maybe again on the next harder difficulty if it has one, and then it also depends on the game has a new game plus or not
Mhm.
that lets you
Yeah.
change the difficulty.
Yeah.
Like Last of Us, you can do new game plus,
Mm.
but you can't change the difficulty. It stays the same.
Oh.
So there's no carrying over improvements into a harder difficulty. You have to play from the hardest difficulty from the scratch.
I mean, props to anybody who sits there and actually like platinums a game because that takes a lot of effort. But then most games you
Playing
actually
Uncharted and crushing.
yeah, you have to play them on the most difficult level. Like Uncharted,
Yeah.
we had to play on crushing, and like props to you because I barely get through a second playthrough unless it's on easy, and I'm like, oh, this is great, crack. I love this. This is great, and let me reminisce, and I'm just gonna go over here and look for treasure. But if I have to play it on crushing, God no, that is sadomasochism. Like, why would I want to torture myself over and
I
over
like
again to
pain.
be like, oh, I fucking love how many times I'm dying right now. Like, I can't. I just can't. I'm
Yeah.
like, nah, I'm done.
I
I'm out.
love dying.
It's so great.
I'm out.
It reminds me of my niece who would play Mario Brothers, and she would just jump in the hole and die. That was her favorite thing to do.
What?
It's like,
I mean,
oh, okay. Sure, that's all she would do. I don't know why. She would just go, wee, and then laugh.
Your niece loved it. Loved it.
Great game.
That's-
Follow the whole game.
Yeah. Well, I'm not gonna have that you bring that point up, Pagan. I used to be like years ago it started. I used to be when I got Xbox 360, and at this point I don't know why they did this, but it's just how it is. When they added achievements and trophies to games, I used to be like with my OCD and stuff. I always wanted to
Achievement
complete
hoard.
every
Mhm.
single game out there, but because I looked at achievement lists and trophy lists prior, that prevented me from playing a lot of games that I just started playing like up to like a few years ago to now. So like I don't do that anymore. I'm not a completionist. So now that's why I mainly play games like on the easiest difficulty because I just want to play it to say I played it and
Yeah.
enjoy the game. Because I don't have time to play it on the hardest difficulty just to get like a trophy or some kind of unlockable that doesn't really do anything for me.
Mm.
I actually, because I was playing through a lot of games and I had a lot of free time last year with transitioning and stuff. I'm not going to when I go to New Zealand. Probably only have time for games that much, but I actually finished 80 games, 80 last year. But I was only playing through them like once, and getting through them, playing on the easiest difficulty. But I can't do that again. That's why it's tough for me to go back to games, because I'm looking on my list because I've already completed some games this year, and they've already been some I've already replayed or that I did replay. But like I'm trying to play newer games, so me back to Uncharted multiple times, I don't have the time for that anymore. So that makes it tougher for me to go back and be like, oh yeah, let me go and do this. So I'm happy to just like watch it.
Yeah.
Just to remember what exactly I went through in that scenario. Yeah.
Jen, are you do you have any completionist in you? Did you ever get platinums? Are you ever looking like trophy hunting? Nothing like that?
I tried really hard to get 100% on one game, and that was Days Gone, and there were like 3 things I couldn't figure out how to do, and I was just like, you know what? I don't care. It's fine. Like, I beat the game. That's all that matters. Like, I got most of the stuff. Like, I finished all of the side quests, and I did all the main quests, and I beat the game. And that's all I care about. So
I feel like my OCD wouldn't let me. I'd be like, 3 things away. Oh, hold up.
Yeah, it would eat up at me if I had like 1 or 2 things until I had to forcefully detach from it by like either uninstalling the game or like forgetting about it and moving on.
That almost happened to me with the Jedi Fallen Order.
Right? I'm stuck on a part
literally
on that right
everything but one, and I couldn't find it. I was on the last planet that I was not 100% on, and I was scouring for the one thing I didn't have. And I couldn't find it, and I was like, oh god, did the game glitch out on me or something, and I'm not going to be able to get this? It will drive me insane. So luckily I found it. I got the 100% of that game, and I wasn't going to like shoot myself. I just now at this moment thought of another story of a similar scenario, though, that did happen to me with another game that it's called Enchanted Arms. It was a very odd RPG published by Ubisoft. And I played it randomly while I was in the military on my Xbox 360. I got all the way to the final boss, and there's a save point right before the boss. And I saw that I did like Greg, I would look at the achievements. There was 2 achievements left. One was for beating the boss for real, and the other was for like giving in to the boss or something like that.
Give in.
So I played the fight, and I gave in. And I was like, okay, I'm going to reload my save data, do the other ending, get the other achievement. In my hurriedness to get back to the save, I clicked through a do you want to save your game option after the credits.
No.
So I overwrote my save game.
No.
And it wouldn't let me go back.
No.
So I can never get that achievement unless I replay the entire game.
Again.
Which I put like 80 hours into.
No.
Like,
I would be like, I am done with games. Goodbye.
Yeah.
I'm gonna
throw the game out the window.
Cows. Yeah, I don't care anymore.
Yeah.
I can understand the appeal of trophy hunting with a game like Uncharted, because there's a lot of collectibles and a lot of treasures, and there's a lot of explorable areas, a lot of things you can climb on, things like that as well. With The Last of Us, I find that it's a little harder, but the collectibles are all usually like ground level, right? You just have to search for them. Whereas like Uncharted, they could be up on top of
Careful.
on top of like a bridge or a tree or wherever. Like it could be anywhere.
You almost pulled a me.
Yeah, so I can kind of understand it with the Uncharted games, but again, like crushing, don't torture yourself.
Well, the problem too is that I'm so tired of finding collectibles in games. Like, I don't even look for collectibles anymore. Like, almost every game that I've played has some form of collectible or the other. The Last of Us is an exception because it adds to the overall lore and story.
I was gonna say, yeah.
I wish more games were like that. There's not
The
a lot of
collectibles
games
more
is more of just like okay, Uncharted's kind of with the treasures and everything. That's kind of cool, but like,
yes.
That's it. It's just treasures. You don't get anything else with it. I mean, I think you unlock certain things or whatever. I don't know. There's some collectible, like if you collect a certain amount, you unlock things, but like, I don't understand the point of collectibles in games if it's not going to help you and understand the story around you, or if it's something that benefits you. Because it's like, because there's a lot of games with just mindless collectible hunting that they just chucked in there. Like, that adds time too. Like, if you're, like, I'm usually able to find a majority of the collectibles on runs because the way they have games and levels set up now, I kind of know where to look just because I've I
Sure.
found
It's
so many
just a sense.
collectibles. It's just
Yeah.
like, this
Yeah.
place looks like a place where a collectible would be.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But if it's not like The Last of Us, I don't see the point of having collectibles.
Well, okay,
If I could throw something into that point real quick, where like just I love Star Wars Fallen Order, but a lot of the collectibles in that game are there just to be collectibles.
Mm-hmm.
And you can tell, and I actually read and heard that they kind of put that in at the last minute just to give you more to do.
Yeah.
And a lot of the collectibles are like a paint for your ship, or a color for your clothes, or a color for your robot.
See, it gives
And
you
they're all
something. though.
meaningless.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think you're right, Greg, and I mean, if let's talk about it, okay? This week they played Last of Us definitive playthrough, and Ashley Scott featured on it, and this is the journey from the beach where we left off last week with Henry and Sam, and we're walking. It kind of brings us all the way to Jackson County, to Tommy and to Maria. In that though, we found moments of collectible items. So that you had your Firefly pendant, and Ish's letters. And Ish's letters, I think, as collectibles in the game, are incredible because they're a completely missable story. If you didn't pick them up, or if you chose not to read them, you would completely miss Ish's story. And that moment in the sewers where they find, they didn't suffer on the floor, and they pick up Kyle's letter, and they read it, and it's a kid's school, like, fuck, like that shit is so good. I completely understand that, like, that adds to the lore, so you have incentive to collect those items.
Yeah, see, that's the kind of stuff that you would want in the game.
Yeah, completely.
Because I would love to have... I'm a big person on expanding lore and, like, continuity and adding things into the game. So, like, the fact that there's, like, all these other stories outside of your story that you can read and understand what's going on, too, that you can also read on and, like, learn about as you're going through the game, that makes the game even more powerful, speaking wise of that it is. Not only, I mean, already enough how Last of Us is just as its own, but adding that element to it, like, I wish more games had that too, because
and it's not just those kind of those pickup things and you're like, oh, let me read a story about Ish or whatever, and you don't see or like ever, like, these are tangible stories. Because this guy, Kyle, has, unfortunately killed these kids because he's gotten bitten and everyone's trapped and everyone's dead. There's no hope. And it's tangible because you could see this evidence. And then later on you see other bits of Ish's story. Like, it's tangible stuff. Isn't it Frank's story in the house in Billstown? Tangible stuff. You find his note. You find everything. Like,
Bill's partner.
Yeah, that's what makes it so heart-wrenching. You know what I mean? Jen, what did you think about... have you played The Last of Us, Jen?
Yes, I actually started a second playthrough when they started airing the playthrough, and I think I beat it within the first, 4 episodes. So I beat it pretty fast again. So.
My brother did the same. Like, he was he found out they were going to do a Last of Us playthrough, and he was like, oh, I have never played this game, so I'm going to play it. And then has since completed it and is catching up on all the episodes and watching them. So that's...
And I had only played it for the first time probably last year, I think. I was super late to the game. I didn't really know anything about it. I didn't know Troy was in it. I didn't know that Ashley Johnson was in it. I didn't know anything. And then I found out all these things. And my friend that's a ship engineer was going away and was like, oh, I have all these games you can borrow. And I was like, okay. And that was one of them. And I was like, why have I not played this game? This game is fucking amazing. Like, what the hell is wrong with me?
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, but... yeah, it's definitely one of my favorites for sure now. Yeah.
How do you find it, like, with this kind of playthrough? Obviously, we've all played the games before, and we've seen all the story and stuff like that. Like, what's your experience, Jen, of, like, having them go through it? Are you enjoying this playthrough, or would you prefer to just be like, okay, I want Nolan and Troy to just play it, and, like...
I actually really, really like the way that they do the playthroughs. At first, I was like, no, don't let Nolan play it. Like, just let Troy play it, because it's his character. But it's like, Nolan doesn't know anything about this game at all. And, like, seeing his reactions to certain things, like the first episode, like, it was just like, what? What?
Yeah.
What? Why are you doing this to me? And it's just like, seeing his reactions for the first time is so awesome.
It's incredible to see how into it he's getting, even though he's not really playing.
Yeah.
He's just watching.
Yeah.
Yeah. he adds so much to it now. And then when he is playing, he's just like, what am I don't know what I'm doing. And now he's getting to the point where he's helping Troy, and he's just like, oh, can you craft that? And like, why don't you craft that so you can pick that up?
Yeah.
Just like, oh, dude, you're learning so much.
His gamer sense.
Yeah.
Like, when he did that in the episode, Jen, like when he was like, hey, you know all that stuff? And he's like, yeah, it's full. And he's like, well, can you craft stuff and then go pick that up? And I was like, yes, Nolan, yes.
Heck yeah, Nolan.
And then there's sometimes where Troy is like, oh, I can't craft that right now. And I'm like, there's a wrench next to it. You can craft it. Come on.
Yeah, same.
I'm like, why don't you know the mechanics?
Yeah. But speaking of Nolan's reactions, it's really great to see this because you can see this throughout all the playthroughs. Whenever they're talking to a guest and they're going into where they're talking about the story, Nolan is listening to what they're saying but is reading the subtitles. And I love that. Like, it really does show you how invested Nolan really is, because he is reading the subtitles. He's occasionally looking at the guests and occasionally looking at Troy when they're speaking, but looking back at the TV to read the subtitles because he doesn't want to miss what's going on. And I think that's really important, because I felt like, what if Nolan doesn't get the same experience out of this because he's not as it's not as engaging as just playing with yourself, like playing by yourself with headphones, which is really cool. And obviously his reaction to the infamous Henry and Sam scene.
Oh god, yeah.
What?
You did it to me again.
Yeah, you did it to me again.
So
his reaction was just incredible. I don't think it could have gone better.
Yeah.
Because it was so natural and so real. He's just so invested.
Mm-hmm.
It's great to see him react like that.
Definitely.
And there's so many other moments about this game that like are coming up, and I'd be really interested to see more of like how Nolan is affected by this.
Yeah, for sure.
Dan, Greg, any comments about this week's episode? Greg's like, nope.
No.
What's the thing that
his
happened?
feelings with The Last of Us, like, yeah, I don't really like The Last of Us. Not that you don't like it, but you've commented before that you're not a big fan of it.
I'm not I appreciate the game for what it is, because, like I've said, it is a beautiful game and everything. I mean, I'm not like how some people are, or a lot of people, and I'm not saying that in a bad way of how people view the game. I can understand why a lot of people, because I forgot what game company just voted it Game of the Decade. I think it was like GameSpot or something. I don't know. It could be wrong. But I understand why it has the love and support, because they did do a lot into that game, especially for a game that came out on PS3 at the time. All that they did, the mechanics and everything. Mm-hmm. It's a well done game. It really is a well done game. Mm-hmm. So. Are
you enjoying this playthrough though? I mean, I know, say that like you don't have the same maybe affection for this game as a lot of other people do that are super.
It's painful to watch Troy suffer, and it's painful to watch Troy play it, because I think we've talked about, he's obviously the one that's going to be the bringing in the conversation, because Nolan's just going to watch it. He wants to watch it, but Troy's talking with the guests and stuff, and you can still tell that sort of distracts him from going from A to B. And sometimes he kind of like he messes up a couple times because of it, or he gets lost when he goes back the way he came. It's like, oh, I just went this way. I just came from this way. I gotta go back.
Yeah.
And Nolan calls him out like, you came from that way. You're going the other way.
It's good. It's hard to watch, because I think Troy is, because he hasn't played it in a while, so I have to give him the benefit of the doubt. But like, it's sort of hard, because Troy is not using all the stealth that he can. He's kind of he's trying to do stealth, but then the guy comes right at him, and then he just starts beating everybody up with fists.
And then all hell breaks loose.
Use all of his shivs on the neck. Yeah, I mean, if that's his version of stealth in a bat with nails in it, so be it. I mean, hey. More power to you. I
think there's a lot of people who commented last week, because he'd started the episode with, contrary to the last episode, I'm actually really good at stealth. And they're like, the live chat blew up.
And then he immediately started punching the guy in.
Yeah, live chat blew up and was like, oh ho ho ho, you're so funny. Like.
Yeah.
I think it was 2 weeks ago. There was an episode when he was talking about, I'm gonna try and be stealthy, and then he walked up and shotgunned a guy in the face. I'm like, Troy Baker's version of stealth equals shotgun.
Yeah. But
Hmm.
what's great is because I think it just emulates Nolan's playthrough of Uncharted, because like Troy would be like, okay, so these guys, they're around here and you gotta stealth them, and Nolan's like all guns blazing, just punching everybody, mashing the square button, and I'm like, yep, that's stealth for Nolan. That clearly works for Nolan because he gets out of the situations, God knows how, but he does. And it's the same now with Troy, except Troy's having a little less luck because the game is a bit more difficult. You get spotted easily though, and I do think like that game does take a while to adjust to, and if you're not concentrating fully, you can just get spotted or
If you're trying to rush through it and not creating a strategy, that's what he keeps encountering is going to happen each time.
Yeah, or trying to stealth parts where you actually can't stealth. You would need to kill all of these people in order to progress. Like when Ellie has the rifle and is going to guard. Like you need to kill everybody because that's how.
But to be fair with that, if he stealths it and he takes his time, the game isn't gonna be finished until this summer.
Yeah.
So.
and this is what I was gonna say as well, is because they are timed, and Troy mentioned that quite a few bits in the live chat, and he's like, I'm so sorry, because he's missing so much stuff in like the town and everything when he was doing the sniper bit, which is so good. But like missed a whole bunch of stuff, and like Troy was like, don't at me guys, like I know we're missing stuff, but we are timed. And there was even a cut in this episode with Ashley Scott.
Two, I think.
Yeah, and it felt really like jarring, but obviously something has gone on too long and they've had to cut it.
Yeah, so, it's a lot for time.
A lot for time. But overall, really good reactions from Nolan. I think like it's super nice to see him so invested.
I will say that I was looking forward to the scene with Henry and Sam since last week, and I'm like, oh, this is going to get Nolan. It's going to get him all over again, because I'm sure he can relate to that at multiple levels, as a brother, as a father, you know, however many ways. And it's just so sudden. It's just boom.
Yeah.
Especially because Nolan's gamer sense is getting so much better, and even to that point where it's the cutscene of Ellie talking to Sam. She gives him the toy. Sam's talking about what it's like to be one of the creatures. And then when he throws the toy down, he got bit, didn't he? Like he picked it up right there.
It out right away.
And then the next scene is boom, it all happens.
Yeah.
And he's just like, he goes into full Nolan strike face.
Stroke face.
Yeah.
Stroke face. I will say that's exactly what happened to me. When she gave him the toy, I was like, oh my god, it's so nice, it's so cute. And then he immediately throws it on the ground. I was like, oh no.
Oh crap.
Oh my god, no. And I did not see that whole scene coming. I did not see that play out well. Fuck. No.
It's funny now with that scene with the toy. I hadn't thought about it in the years because that game's been out for a while. But have you seen A Quiet Place?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah, I thought about that too.
That's all I can think of, right?
Did you really?
The toy. Like, not the toy. Not the toy.
Oh my gosh.
Kids always ruin everything in movies like that.
Yeah, fucking hell. That moment in The Quiet Place though, and stop. Like the beginning of that, I was so stressed. That whole you know what? That whole film, stressed. Second one's coming out though, so that's exciting.
That'll probably be just stressful.
Yeah. But next week we have kind of other guests to look forward to. We have the Uncharted episode next week is going to be a retrospective episode with Amy Hennig. With Amy Hennig looking back on Uncharted 2 Among Thieves. So that should be super interesting. And then they ended this week's Last of Us episode where they got to meet Tommy and Maria. Obviously, the beautiful Ashley Scott was on as well, and she'd obviously never played the game before, and sharing her experiences then. And her character Maria is super great. Yes, Dan. It was like, teacher, man.
I have a question, please.
My turn.
Excuse me.
Pick me, I'm the one.
I just wanted to start right off by saying having Maria on the episode was amazing because she had not seen the gameplay at all.
No, she
and her reactions were so genuine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is so nice as well, because there's like, obviously, like Ashley Scott has like seen Troy Baker work and Ashley Johnson work, and like knows that Ellie's like a foul mouthed, you know, young sassy lady. But this time, like, she's actually experiencing it, and like little parts of the level, like that you have to get a pallet and you have to go underneath the water and you have to like do this and everything. It was really, really interesting to see her reactions as well. So it's always nice to see, because it's such a contrast from last week with Brandon Scott. funny they both have the same last name, because I was like, that can't be right in my head, and I was like, no, that's
Wait, check our
definitely
notes.
right.
What have we messed up?
Brendan Scott. Yeah, no, Brendan Scott is obviously a gamer
Michael
and has
Scott.
played that game, and it's just been such a contrast because Ashley Scott has never played it at all, which is super interesting. I really enjoyed that.
Her reaction the first time Troy took a guy out with a bat, she was straight up like, oh, ha,
Yeah.
ugh. Like she was shook.
Yeah, but got super into it by the sniper mode. Like by the sniper scene was like, oh yeah.
She was like, oh, this is super fun.
Get the guy on the left. Yeah, like you know what I mean.
Totally just giving him hints and helping.
She's gonna go out now and she's gonna play that game, which is gonna be great. And I see that the episode ended with them meeting Maria, her character, and Tommy. And next week we get to see Jeffrey Pierce on the show, who plays Tommy. So that should be super interesting. There was a lot of talk in the live chat as well that perhaps Maria will play a bigger part in The Last of Us 2.
Could see that.
Yeah. I mean,
Who knows?
Yeah, who knows? Anything could go really good in it. Like, fucking Star Wars could show up in The Last of Us 2 and we'd be like, yeah, I'm on board. Shut up and take my money, Naughty Dog.
Has Maria been seen in the trailers for Last of Us 2?
Not that I've seen, no.
So we don't know if she's actually in it or
No,
not.
I don't think so. I haven't seen her.
But I think there was like heavy hints and everything about it. But well, in the live chat, people were discussing it. We're like, oh, I think she's gonna have a better part of this role. Like she could be seen as almost a maternal figure for Ellie, because she's after growing up and stuff like that. And they bonded pretty well. And obviously they went at the end, obviously to Tommy's town, like with Tommy and Maria, and they met up with all of them. So that should be super interesting. And then let's touch finally on the small little snippet, episode 2, clip 2, whatever we're going to call it. The teeny tiny clip of Cyanide and Happiness collaboration with Retro Replay. Nip and Tuck.
Ooh. Nip and Tuck. That's an interesting name for that little bit from the Contra episode.
Yeah. The thing is, like, I actually thought people in the live chat nicknamed them Turnip and Tucker. So I don't know.
But that was a completely different episode. Turnip and Tucker was a different episode of Retro Replay where they played different characters.
Are you sure? Because I mean, if you just shorten Turnip and Tucker, it's Nip Tuck.
Tuck.
I guess. Could be if they're well. They actually they called themselves that in the bit in the Bass Fish episode where they did this whole thing. They called themselves
Turnip.
But in this was an old episode before they did that bit. So they might have been transferring those names to those characters. Because they just did like super rural southern accent. Like, I got a 2-working fridge out in the front yard.
Oh man, I loved it. I love when they do those bits, and like seeing them animated, seeing them brought to life by Cyanide and Happiness just makes my day.
It's super fun.
Yeah.
Such a wonderful collaboration.
Does it
bring me happiness? Maybe with a touch of cyanide. Just a smidge to keep it spicy.
Just a little bit.
Just a toothful of cyanide.
We haven't spoken to you guys since they've done this collaboration with Cyanide and Happiness. Do you guys know much about them? Like, have you seen their stuff before they've done this Retro Replay collaboration, Jen?
Yeah, lots.
Yeah, good.
Like, since they started, I don't remember what year it was, but they're at Emerald City Comic Con almost every year.
Really?
They always have a huge booth. They always have so many people waiting in line, so I never even get close to it because I'm just like, that's too long to wait.
Sure.
Like, but I do love their stuff. I love all the comics and the cartoons, and having them animate Nolan and Troy is just hilarious, and I am just wishing that it was longer. Like, I know animation takes time, and I know that they can't make it as long as I would like it to be. I'd like to have a whole separate, like, hour-long show with these characters.
Yeah.
Especially Phil Kensington. But
right, he is good.
Oh, the day when the Phil Kensington Cyanide and Happiness comes, Pagan is going to be losing her.
I will lose my mind.
I love it so much.
Yes, love it so much.
I do the Phil Kensington joke all the time to my fiance, and she has only watched the snippets, but she thinks it's funnier when I do it than when Troy does it, since she doesn't really watch the show.
Can you do us like Phil Kensington?
Oh god, I'd be like, are raccoons getting into your garbage? Then just come on down to Phil Kensington sales store and we'll get you some raccoon repellent.
Yes!
It's just like,
yes,
it can just go on. And then it's like, and then, here's Marty Kensington,
Yeah.
my brother.
Hi,
Like-
I'm Marty, brother
It's
to
just-
Phil.
It's so good.
I actually have
all of it.
I have a similar story, Jen. Like Adam, like obviously because like Adam is into retro replay by proxy because he's going to marry me.
He's
so
forced
he
to.
has to. Yeah, basically, I'd like strap his eyelids open and everything. Yeah, but what was the greatest moment about that is because like we started watching those episodes and he enjoys them as much as I do. Like he's just not available to be active in live chat because he works like you do, Jen. And so when we were watching something, like we'd be out and we would be grocery shop and he would pick something up and like do the Phil Kensington bit, and I was like, I'm gonna marry you, honey. Like, you're a keeper. Like,
Yeah.
Or sends me like retro replay gifts. Just one time I think I asked him to explain something to me. I was like, look, I don't understand or whatever. And before he went on a rant, he sent me an image of Troy with plot underneath it, and he's like, and then plot, and then he like went on this massive rant, and then sent me like Ace Ventura gifts after, and I'm like, this is perfect. Thank you so much for bringing more of this stuff into my life. Phil Kensington has my heart.
You better be careful. I'm gonna marry you.
Yeah. Shut up and wife me.
You better watch it.
Yeah. Greg, what do you think about Cyanide having this collab?
It's pretty.
It's pretty nice.
It's very nice.
It's nice. It's real nice. It's real nice.
Noise.
Noise.
Real nice.
I haven't really watched
Toy.
Cyanide and Happiness. I know what they are, and I know they've been around forever. Like, I haven't watched. I'm now watching it because of the retro replay stuff. But like, for what I like the bits that they're choosing to make the animation of. They're picking good. They're picking good bits from the show.
Yeah.
They're picking some of the best of level 1 bits so far, and that to me is the best thing they could possibly do because I love the level 1 bits.
Yeah.
The level 1 bits were that. Yeah, that pretty much put everything on the map today for sure. I mean, there's some good level 2 bits, but level 1 bits. I mean, that's where. Yeah, they're probably going to be in there they're going to be dabbling in there for a little bit.
Dabbling.
All the devils.
But yeah, the Phil Kensington, that's going to break the site for sure,
Oh.
especially on Pagan's side. Pagan is going to be like,
Internet's
going to go like this.
Phil
typing in-
Kensington
Tick,
sales
tick, tick, tick,
bot. Hi, I'm Phil Kensington. I love it. I fucking love it. And I like anytime I get an opportunity in the live chat, if there's something that's
Hi,
said,
and I'm Marty.
yeah, if there's something that's said in the live chat or something that's said in the episode, and you can jump on that, it's myself and I think like Don Lago as well. Like we pop on the live chat and be like, Phil Kensington references. Let's go.
I've done it a few times with you too, Pagan. Like,
That's true.
was it last week we named the henchman that got shot by Lazarevich at Kensington?
Oh yeah.
Remember?
Kensington. He was a cousin of Marty and Phil Kensington. Yeah.
And we regretted this whole plot about his character of how
Yeah.
he tried to get out of the sale store business by becoming a
branch
treasure
off.
hunter,
Yeah.
so that he could
So
open a treasure sale store,
Yeah. And then he got killed by Nathan Drake.
and then he
Yeah.
died.
Poor guy.
Oh, wow.
He got shot in the face.
Look.
Dream was never realized.
Yeah, no, it's a pretty good collaboration. Although when they announced it, I was in Manchester Comic Con.
Kyle Kensington.
Kyle Kensington is probably what it was. I was in MCM Manchester Comic Con, and they put it up on the screen or whatever, and they announced that they were going to do Cyanide and Happiness, which wasn't their first announcement, but it was an announcement for Manchester. I thought they would elaborate on the characters that they did. I didn't realize that they would just be going to edit clips from previous episodes. I thought they were taking the characters of like Nip and Tuck, for
expanding.
example. Yeah, and making like a 2-minute short. Like I thought they were gonna run a script and do a 2-minute short.
Yeah.
So I was super
It'd
excited.
be nice if they did that.
Yeah.
I had a feeling they
Yeah.
were going to do it by the bit. They were just going to animate the bit and then make it a character and then make it a little short. Yeah, because for them to do all that, they'd have to get them to do voice work and all that other stuff, I'm sure.
Yeah.
That's what I thought the collaboration was going to be. Like, I thought they were going to do shorts with this. So I was like, oh, I'm so excited. Not that I'm not excited when they did bring it out. And I was like, oh, okay, they're just animating clips of the show.
It wasn't what you thought it was going to be.
Yeah,
Right.
and I thought
But it
they
was
would
still
just,
good.
Yeah, I thought it would just be longer. Because, like, Jen, like, I would watch an hour of that shit. Like, I'm like, shut up and take my money, retro replay.
I don't know if you guys have ever heard of it. There was a show that used to be on Comedy Central. It was called Shorties Watching Shorties. And it was
I used to
the
watch
same
it.
idea. And it was basically just like comedian bits, but animated into
Animated with
cartoon.
babies, right?
Yeah, and they had
Yeah.
the babies tell the stories, and then they would
Those
just
were
like animate
great.
these weird jokes, and it was such a hilarious show. And I think it was only on for like a season,
That's
but it was
amazing.
so good.
It had
And
like
so as
two
soon as they
host
announced-
babies too,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And I forgot.
can't
I remember the
which
Two host
comedians they are.
babies.
I remember the voices,
host
but and I
babies.
remember who he was, but I don't know the name off the top of my head. And
Yeah,
I feel like Tracy Morgan was on there a lot.
yeah. They had a lot of Tracy Morgan jokes on there, and like it brought me back to it as soon as they announced the Cyanide and Happiness collaboration. I was like, oh, like Shorties like watching Shorties, that would be great. And then essentially, yes, just very, very, very short.
I haven't seen that. The only joke
You should look it up.
Yeah, I actually will. The only
Just
joke
watch it
that
all
I've
the
seen
time.
animated is the oh my god, it's just shit. It's a Star Wars joke by Ed. Oh my god, why it's just coming out of my head? Okay, we'll look. I'll post it in the chat. It's a Star Wars joke about Darth Vader, and he's like, "Do you know who I am?" And he's like Darth Vader trying to go to the canteen for lunch. He's a British actor, and he does drag.
Eddie
Oh
Izzard?
my god, Eddie Izzard. Yes. Thank
The
you.
only Eddie
Just needed the
comedian I
one.
can
Thank you,
think of.
Jan. Eddie Izzard. Yes.
Mind Palace.
Mind Palace. Eddie Izzard, he does a joke about Star Wars and Darth Vader on the Death Star trying to get lunch in the canteen. And it is fantastic. And the way it's animated is stop-go animation with Lego characters. And it's incredible. I will post you that.
Just be sure to
I think you would definitely
edit the
like that.
podcast later.
Yeah, I
you
would
can
like
cut it out so it makes it sound like you didn't forget his name at all.
Yeah.
I'm
My
sorry.
editing skills are like
Last-
not
Don't
that
cut.
good. Just
It'd just
keeping
be
it
a really
real,
odd
man.
cut.
Just keeping it real. My brain fart is real. This happens in real life.
Or we'll have that
Just keep it
internet
up.
connection dial-up from the 90s next to Pagan's
Yes,
Day.
that's perfect. Please, yes. Please, yes.
We do this show like Uncle Noli, going in raw.
Yeah, going in. Send it in raw, folks. All right. Don't actually, though, unless you're in a committed relationship. We'll go into that another time.
Even then.
Even then, it's okay occasionally to use a condom. Alrighty, well, look, that wraps up this week's episode. Thank you so much, Greg and Jen, for joining us. It's
No
been
problem.
so nice to
Thank
have
you
you.
for having me again.
Aw, you're
Anytime.
welcome. You're welcome. Jen, we'd love to have you back if you ever want to come back. So please do let me know.
Sure.
Hit me up. Sure. Well, I know.
Sure.
Sure.
I don't have anything going on.
If anybody
Share
is
all
looking,
the tangents with us.
yeah, if anybody's looking to follow you guys on socials, or if there's anything that you would like to plug, now is the time to do it. Where can they find you?
I am on Instagram, Twitter, Discord, basically any platform you need to find me on. It's just XJennersonX. It's super easy to find, but if that exists on a platform, it's me. That's same on PSN. On Xbox, I'm O'Neill1982. And yeah, I'm really easy to find. I have a website that I just started doing video game, movie, and TV reviews. It's called Gen X Media Content, and
Nice.
the website is genxmediacontent.weebly.com.
Weebly.com.
Weebly.
Perfect.
Good
I
old
will have to
Weebly.
check that out. Thank you so much. Greg and
Yeah, no
Pete?
problem.
I actually have a new one, but to start the usual one,
Sure.
follow me at Twitter at thegreg007. And I have the new one is Sarah and I created an Instagram page for our stuff
Yeah.
that's happening, and she's actually gonna, as we're recording this, she'll be here in like 47 days. So it's getting days are coming, but it's getting almost there. It's almost time.
Oh my goodness.
Yep.
So
So
My.
on Instagram, we are the Adventures of, I think it's Adventures of Sarah and Greg.
I think so.
No, it's Adventures of Greg and Sarah. Everything is under lowercase. Adventures of Greg and Sarah, and you'll find
The
us there.
Adventure-
We're just posting stuff that's going on when we're together and all that thing. So just a nice little thing to have for just to have in general
That's
for
a nice
anything. for
way
the
to like
future, so.
stay in touch with you two as a couple, which is
Yeah.
gross but also nice. Maybe my fake
Pagan's only
fiancé.
disgusted by couples because she doesn't actually physically have an Adam in her life.
Basically.
So the thought of people actually physically
Adam.
touching each other is just...
Yeah. Like, I have the cardboard cutout, and that's enough. You say goodnight to him.
That's all I need.
You walk past him in the morning and touch his forehead. Be like,
Yep.
hey, buddy. How you doing? Good night. Love you. Kiss. Bye-bye. And then I'm going, like, starfish in my, like,
Trying to figure out
king-size
if
bed
that's
with a cat.
creepy or if that's more creepy or more sad.
I like to walk the line, Greg. I like to
Oh, you
walk-
like to be in the middle, creepy and sad?
Yeah, definitely. My
Sounds
life is
about
a
right.
mess. You gotta just walk that
Poor
line
Pagan.
between creepy and sad.
Yeah.
It's stable enough that you almost look like you have your shit together.
There you go.
It's the secret to my life.
There you go. Life lesson, life hack.
Life hack. Dan?
Well, like Jen, I'm easy enough to find. I am Stark Evil Vash, pretty much across the board. Expectation. Everything that's not Twitter. Twitter, I am Stark E Vash, which is STARKY
Right?
VASH.
VASH. Like
And
the way you ended
I
that
can
was
throw
like,
VASH. I can do a quick little throw out there that me and Brandy are looking to stream video games together soon.
Oh, heck yeah.
So that could be like me and Greg's, or Greg and Sarah's Instagram account will be me and Brandy streaming video games.
hey.
I'm gonna try to do it almost retro replay-ish. We'll see how that goes.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. Sarah and I talked about doing that, but because of how things are set up, what's probably going to happen is she may stream something and I just like sit next to her and like talk to people.
Cool.
Not streaming, but like playing stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I wish I could show you my current room right now because there's like almost nothing in here because I pretty much sold everything. But she's got PlayStation. I'm taking my PC, so I mean
Great.
it's so yeah. I thought about that too, but I think we're just going to be.
Dude, it's
playing
something
whatever.
for down the line. Like, if you guys ever wanted to do it,
Yeah,
like, you have time
it's
to
an
get there.
idea. It's
Yeah.
an idea. We talked about it, but I
Get
don't think.
there
Yeah.
safely, set up your home together, and then
Well, it'll
like
be
move
like-
on from there.
Me, same thing.
Yeah.
We're figuring it out. Like,
Yeah,
Getting there.
We're in
Yeah, you guys are
brainstorming
just getting
stages.
settled.
Yeah.
So yeah, and
Yeah.
I would happily watch both of your streams.
Aw.
But
Woo!
only if you're streaming naked, porns.
Oh, I'm gonna have
duh?
to bow.
Only if
What-
you're
What-
streaming
how else
naked.
would I stream, Pagan? Like,
Sorry, Greg. I'm so sorry.
fully nude,
That's the only
twerking,
way.
just flesh flying around.
Oh
That's
dear.
right, Jen. You heard him. Like,
I'm gonna go.
this is
Yeah.
retro replay after hours.
you know, somebody today, like, I was talking about something, like, streaming today, because they'd asked me in work, and someone was like, like, so do you stream? I was like, yeah, but, like, for a replayer community, really, like, because I haven't got much of a Twitch community at the moment, I've only just started, and they're like, yeah, you probably need, like, really deep cleavage and a lot of makeup to stream to get popular, and I was like, well, ain't that the truth? Like,
Oh,
ain't
yeah,
that
there's
life,
like
honey?
there's like a stereotype that
Yeah.
most of the girl streamers on Twitch have they're called
They look
titty
like-
streamers.
Yeah.
Harley
Streamers?
Quinn. Like,
Yeah,
full-
they got like the huge cleavage and stuff, and they got all the makeup, and they have like the push on bra.
Hey, look, if I
And,
had
like,
the
that's all they
equipment,
get-
I'd show
that's
it
how they
off.
get-
But
Yeah,
sadly,
same.
yeah, lacking in
nothing.
that department.
Nothing
So
to show.
yeah,
Yeah.
I gotta just get fake titties. Just sit them
You
up.
got it,
Just
flaunt
flaunt
it.
Got it,
Weird,
flaunt
so-
it. Yeah. Yeah. Well, speaking of
Speaking
my
of-
Twitch, oh, go ahead.
I was gonna give you a shout out too, Pagan. Speaking of your Twitch, I joined you last week on your charity stream.
We did.
Are you gonna be doing another one of those?
I will. It's not. There's no date set for it just yet, but I will be streaming, and I will be streaming a horror game. Yeah, I will be doing a horror
Oh,
stream.
I'll
and-
watch that.
Jen, I don't play horror games, so you feel
I
free.
know. That's why I'm gonna watch
Feel
it.
free.
Exactly.
Yeah, Megan has played I had a horror game a while back, and her reactions, Dan got some on video. They're pretty nice.
Yeah.
Pretty nice.
I'm excited.
So I've decided that for charity, because I'm such
Charity
a nice
only.
person, that
Yeah.
I will put myself through torture, a few hours
Wow.
torture, and I will play a horror game, and the game is like to be seen because I have a game and I will be streaming it, but it'll be announced pretty soon, and I'll be doing that. We have a charity stream going for Australia Red Cross. It is Shimey's charity link, and she's trying to raise as much money as possible, and she's raised over $1,000 already. So anybody participating in my stream who would like to donate towards Red Cross, there is list of games on my stream info that are kind of up for grabs. You get put into a raffle. Anytime you put in over $10, you get put into a raffle for the games. And if you have a preference for one of the games, you put down what preference you have, and you get put into that raffle. So for example, we have a Last of Us Remastered. If you have a preference for that game and you donate $10, you just put Last of Us in your comments, and we pop you into that specific raffle, and then the winner is drawn after the 26th of January, which is Australia Day. So everybody
also shout out to Shiny for getting the stream for the charity started and all that she's done so far for it.
Yeah.
And for everyone who's
yeah. And you know what? Like, it's incredible. She's raised over $1,000, and that's so amazing. And we just want to keep that going as long as possible. The stream link, or the donation link, is open until the 26th of January. So we're going to try and fit in as many streams individually and together as possible. We sort of just be working on that because the link is open. I have games to be won on my site, on my Twitch, including like a signed copy of Resident Evil 5 by Wesker, basically, and a Claudia Wells autograph photo who was the girlfriend in Back to the Future. Yeah, Back to the Future. So I mean, there's some really cool things up for grabs. If you do want to donate, please do. It is on my Twitch, which is @pagan_plays, and it's in the info section. Please click on the link to donate to the Australian Red Cross. Everything else, I'm @pagan_plays on Instagram, on YouTube, which is pagan plays. It's no underscore. Twitch @pagan_plays, and on Twitter it's it's a hard one. It's @appleeyes 2APPELEYES, or just search pagan plays and you'll see my stupid face on Twitter somewhere.
You're all like dressed up in modelly.
And modelly. It's such it's such false advertisement as well. Like, I look
very sassy photo. Yeah, I feel sad.
I look really nice in my headshots.
You see
and
that?
Then they're like,
you're like, sorry, this is what you get.
Yeah.
And then you're gonna come
Exactly
into you like, ah!
Yeah. Although, shout out to the cool person who tweeted me this week while I was doing my stream about changing my name to Mary and quitting those demonic video games. Yeah. Cheers, bro. Wow. I'll think about it.
Oh,
sure.
Yeah, it's always fun to get those kind of
saying video games are like the devil or something.
Yeah, demonic worshipping. The guys chopped in too as well. It was pretty funny.
Poor pagan.
Poor pagan.
Tools of Satan.
Tools of Satan. Do you know what's interesting though? I will throw this in just as a bonus. People follow me on Twitter that are like pagan cultured stuff. And I presume that I actually think they follow me because they think that I'm
you're
pagan
a
religion.
paganist.
Yeah.
You're like, no.
No.
How mistaken you are.
Yeah, and I feel like if you just clicked into my profile, you would see, like, that is my name. It's not my religion.
That's it.
And
no.
like a side note that's kind of related to the other guy who told me to change my name to Mary and like quit the demonic video games. I was actually born and raised Catholic. So, and he was like, here, check out this. And it was like VaticanCatholics.com or whatever. And I was like, that's hilarious. Because my confirmation name is like, in a religious sense, is actually Mary. So my full name in the religion, like in Catholic religion, would be Pagan Mary McGrath, which is hilarious. Oh, hello, Kitty!
Bug wanted to come say hi.
Well, Bug is adorable.
He's
special
guest.
guest.
Pretty adorable.
He's adorable. Oh, look at our special guest. Hello, Bug.
He's a good boy. So you got to see
special guest on the Replayer Podcast.
Special guest
Bug,
featuring Bug and also Jen. Like, thanks very
Jen
much.
too, but mostly Bug.
Jen was like the tag along. It was only.
Yeah, finally we can start the podcast now that Bug's here.
Yeah.
Play the intro. No, just kidding.
I'm glad you joined.
Yeah.
Boom.
He's like, I'd like to go now, please.
Bug's like, fuck off, let me alone.
Okay, bye.
He doesn't like being on camera. He hasn't had his angles done, so it's fine.
Yeah, pretty much.
Thank you also to Drew, Nolan, Troy, and PJ, and all the crew at Red Bear Films for all that you do, because without you, this Replayer podcast would not be possible. We hope you've enjoyed our podcast, everybody, and if you'd like to hear more from us, please go ahead and like and subscribe, rate and review, and provide comments. If you have any suggestions or questions, please pop them into an email at thereplayerpodcast@gmail.com. We also have, obviously, our videos now on YouTube. On YouTube? On YouTube.
How?
My God, I'm having a
whole
stroke
new
mid-sentence. My Lord. We are also now on YouTube, the Replayer Podcast on YouTube, so you can feel free to watch watch these episodes. English is hard. I'm sorry. What? We also have a Facebook page, which for the Replayer Podcast, so be sure to check that out. And if you have 2 minutes to complete a little survey we put together, we would like to hear from you. So please do click that link in the show notes.
Please do.
That's it. Yeah, please do. We'd like to hear for like your feedback and just hear from you and how we can make this better experience for everybody. So yeah, click the link. Takes 2 minutes to do it. Donate your time. Thank you so much, everybody. It's game over, folks.
Thank you, Greg. Thanks, Jen.
No problem.
Yeah, thanks,
you.
guys.
Bye.
Bye. We are the whitest people you know.
We are the
The
whitest. The whitest people you know.
Like that.